much different things they've changed, and it's pretty interesting. I thought it was just going to be a race for fun, but you know how it is. You start getting these racers in it, and it turned into a competition pretty quick. And you know how it is. I mean, when Harley Davidson and Vance and Hines gets into something, it's always going to be all the way, and the same with Indian.
And the surprise to me, Rob, was that Frankie Garcia was out in front, because that was actually what cost him yesterday was the start. He tried doing a practice start when he left up pit lane and looped that bike out. I don't know how that happened. It is a slight uphill, but how you loop out a 500-pound machine in literally 2.5 feet, I have no idea.
Dunlop tires, my friend. That's how you do it.
The
Josh
Q4.
Heron, let me give you the rest of the rundown, because the 50 of Josh Heron out there, performance machine, Biddleman Street Glide. Eric Stahl on a bike they call the Mullet from Alloy Art number 99. Michael Woolaway built the bike. He's riding the bike. He's one of the older riders in the group. He's on the Saddleman Road Glide 87. Tony Salma on the 150, the Speed Merchant bike. Josh Chisholm. Everybody needs a Barnett clutch on their bike. He sits in 11th. And how about the second generation, Logan Lackey on the Arlen Ness bike, as they celebrate 50 years right now. 50X running in the number 12 spot. And Michael Braun's on the Bassani bike, not able to make the start.
And you talk about the second generation with Logan Lackey, his dad Brad Lackey, former champion motocross rider. But we're talking about Harleys and Indians out there today, and this is a great race for second place. Hayden Gillum on the 79, the 14 of Frankie Garcia. Garcia, would they have raced together? I mean, recently, would you think, Roger, in the past few years? I mean,
No,
Garcia
they haven't.
been there,
They
but too much age disparity.
Not
between
even that, but Frankie hasn't been doing the road races the last couple years. He started out, and now he's been doing the hooligan things for the last couple years. So, no, I don't think they've raced with each other before.
But both guys know what they're doing in a racing sense, and it maybe just not with this equipment. And now we're getting to see, look how tight they are. And you want to talk about cutting through the wind, and we talk about drafting at Indianapolis and other places in Atlanta that we've been on. Here, coming down that front straightaway, I mean, it's going to be like pulling behind a semi-trailer if you're Frankie Garcia and you have Hayden Gillum just in front of you.
Yesterday, I told y'all that I thought Tyler O'Hara would do a 35. He's only 2/10 off of that right now.
What is the fist pump for Travis Wyman as he was coming down the front straightaway?
The turbocharged Trask machine right now, letting everybody know maybe he's coming through like Babe Ruth calling the shot right now. In behind him, Corey West on the slide glide, number 9, starting to inch up on him. West right now in the number 6 spot, trying to climb up, but Travis Wyman looks like he's telling the boys on the pit wall, I'm coming through. He's got that turbo hooked up. He's not looking at the trap speed right now. We're looking at 125, 126. So big mile per hour out of these machines as they come through Laguna Seca. Quick look over his shoulder just to make sure that the slide guide's back there. And the 86 of Travis Wyman continues on.
And running that turbo, taking some chances, but with it not being a higher temperature, I mean, I think he could be safe. But still, a lot of questions to be asked, because we really haven't seen these bikes going this fast on this type of track with these type of riders before.
There were so many people out there that said, oh my gosh, the corkscrew, the this, the that, the machines. And folks, I got to tell you, if you're here, trackside or home watching, the Drag Specialties King of the Bagger has not only lived up to the hype, but it has exceeded it. Great racing, and it looks like the Vance and Hines bike trying to break away right now just a little bit from Frankie Garcia on the Roland Sands Indian Challenger. Tyler O'Hara on the Indian Challenger out front, S&S back.
And I can just tell you, these guys are going a lot faster than it looks like on this TV. I mean, looking out our commentary box window, these guys coming over turn 1. I cannot believe where Hayden Gillum is right here, how fast they are going on these baggers over this turn 1.
One of the great things, especially for the road racing community, is there's so many drag specialty dealers around the country, and look at them backing it in on the Vance and Hines Street Glide, having watch parties at their dealership, whether it's an Indian dealership.
O'Hara made a mistake.
Oh,
This is our leader, Tyler O'Hara, off the track, and he's dropped back to what? Third now.
Third.
He picks it back. Now we got a race. Heron's having difficulties on the 50.
does Hayden Gillum on the Vance and Hines Street Glide.
Well,
it looks like he's smoking.
He's either losing something. Was that smoke? Was that fluid? Something's happening. Look at the bike back in third in this picture. I don't see it now, though. Maybe it was just dust. Maybe brought a little dust out there. Hey, now we've got a race, Roger. He can maybe turn lap times a second or two quicker than the field. Well, he's going to need it if he's going to win this race.
5 to go, and the battle of Indian versus Harley has heated up around the world right now.
Hey, Roger, what's the one thing you see about Hayden Gillum? He does not like to give up position. It's one thing to be in front of Hayden Gillum. To get by him is a totally different story.
Man, you think that bike's wide? If somebody gets close to him, he's going to make it a lot wider.
Yes, sir. If it's 3.5 feet wide now, it's going to be 7.5 feet coming into the turn with somebody else.
Lap times right now in the 136s. A lot of the guys sub 140. So earlier today, I think a couple of these guys would have qualified pretty well in some of the other classes out there.
Looks like Tyler O'Hara's got it. Got it going.
It might have augured just a little bit and push. Where was that?
Even in the third sector, he's half a second or 2/10 quicker than Gillum was. So you can see him; he's already catching back up.
Was that turn 2 where he went off?
Yeah.
Just maybe pushing it too hard.
I'll tell you right now,
Downhill
the
left.
sun. I mean, look out the window.
True.
You can see how the sun going over turn 1.
And that's where they're going at right now. They're heading in that slight left is turn 1. This is turn 2. This is where O'Hara had the difficulty earlier.
You know, Robbie, I heard you mention earlier, how do you get through this one? You start to become comfortable suffering. You know that the sweat in your eyes right now. You know the guys behind you, they have it all. Can you get comfortable in that suffer mode? And again, it looks like the 29 of Tyler O'Hara looks over the front of the S&S Indian, trying to look over, and there is some smoke coming out of the back of that.
I don't know if he has gravel under there, and then when he goes to the corner, maybe
Yeah,
some of it's blowing out. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Because it's always while he's leaned
It is
over.
a liquid-cooled machine compared to some of these air-cooled. He goes by Frankie Garcia. That thing's reignited right now, folks.
He's feeling like something ain't right. That is smoke, though, for sure.
But always when he's leaned over.
Yeah.
If you notice that, it doesn't do it on the straightaway. It's always at like the apex of the corner.
Well, we have O'Hara up into second place, getting by Frankie Garcia. Hayden Gillum up next, but he had about a 3-second advantage over him as they came across the stripe. But there's still 4 laps to go. He's got plenty of time if he takes that time. But the other question is, with that fluid leaking, could he possibly get a flag to pull off? Is it just something that's burning? That could be a factor. Can that bike continue to run for 4 more laps?
Something's not right either, because I mean, even when he came out of turn 2, that last lap, you could see him stand up and
look over the
front end. But you can see he's already catching up to Hayden Gillum this lap.
The 79 of Hayden Gillum on the Vance and Hines street glide out front. Frankie Garcia on the Roland Sands machine has slid back to third as Tyler O'Hara on the S&S street glide Challenger. Indian Challenger has moved up into the number 2 spot, and it looks like he has ignited himself coming up. So the Indian Challenger of the 29 of Tyler O'Hara seems to have really come back together, and he is starting to gather up the street glide of Hayden Gillum.
So, man, these guys not used to the pit board coming. He's going to see a plus whatever.
Oh,
Ben Bostrom taking a
Bostrom.
look down. 77 on that Fueling Park Century, having some difficulties. I was really impressed by his starting, though. You know, I was wondering, like, who's going to push it on the start. It was definitely Double B that put the pressure on early.
Man, we've got some great battles out there, but the battle for the lead right now rages on. Harley Davidson against Indian.
And you can see Hayden Gillum first split at his personal best. He's trying to maintain the lead.
His personal best isn't fast enough because Tyler O'Hara is all up in his business. And he's going to drag race up that hill, and Gillum's going to be able to hold him off. But now what do you do as you head into the most famous portion of this track?
You talk about racecraft right now, and Hayden Gillum able to just move over, take the line just a little bit
Watch
from him.
He's going to enter this corkscrew on the left.
This is what I'm saying. He's heading there. No, don't do it. Thank you, Lord. I thought that we will get a lot of pictures and a lot of video if he tries making a pass in that corkscrew on those things.
The photographers probably have just taken one of the most iconic photos in V-twin history right now. Indian Challenger against Harley Davidson Street Glide, and the battle rages on. 3 to go.
Here's where a double wide Hayden Gillum's going to come into play.
Lappers, too. They're coming up on some lappers.
Oh, and I think this is what O'Hara needs to make that pass early. Backing it in is Gillum.
The first foot drag of the weekend. I saw it come off the peg, and folks, there's only one bike with floorboards, and that's the Arlen Ness Logan Lackey bike, and these machines are hooked up.
Did I just see smoke coming out of the exhaust possibly on O'Hara that time? That's the first time I thought I might have seen it out of the exhaust. 2 laps to go now. There's the turn 2. That's where we had the problem with O'Hara earlier.
O'Hara's definitely not doing the lap times he did at the beginning of the race.
I think he's kind of being patient right now, don't you? I think he had the speed to get up there, and he's just trying to put the pressure on, maybe make a mistake out of Hayden Gillum.
Drag Specialties King of the Banger has lived up to the hype as we have a 2-man battle up front. Frankie Garcia still in third. Travis Wyman on a turbocharged Trask performance bike up to 4th. Ben Bostrom back to 5th. Corey West on the slide glide.
It looks like the Harley's got a little more top speed, but the Indian in the corners is a little better.
Liquid cooled against air cooled right now, and it's another big drag race up the hill, and Hayden Gillum again holds the advantage. 2 to go.
Little bottom end grunt out of that Indian, and Hayden can run it wide. He's going to use up all of that track that he can, and he's really good at backing that bike in. It may be big, but he's kind of freewheeling coming into some of those turns. Can he do the slingshot? There it is, going into the corkscrew.
Wow. For a minute, I was going to say Rossi passes Stoner, but
Yeah,
that's not what happened.
This is not 2008.
That was O'Hara, Gillum, and here they come back down in the view. The folks here, man, we wish there was more here, but we know they're tuned in around the globe right now watching this epic battle happen here. Side of the track, the PM Street Glide over there.
Well, one lap and a straightaway still to go here, and the Indian has taken over position. Tyler O'Hara down that front straight. Hayden Gillum, does he have anything
Hayden
for
Gillum
him?
all tucked in,
He's
trying to
giving him chicken wing. He is pulling for everything he can. He's done it once. They put the pressure on earlier. O'Hara shot off in this turn 2, and he's still slinging it in there, Raj.
Yeah, got in a little deep again.
Folks, I hope that you guys at home were wondering how this was going to look. I don't know if you think it was going to be this amazing, but it is truly edge of the seat set up, white flag lap. Harley Davidson against Indian Challenger, and Tyler O'Hara has the advantage.
The other Indian, Frankie Garcia, about 10 seconds behind in third. That would be your podium. Travis Wyman in fourth. Very impressive. Again, the rider coming off the track in Stock 1000 earlier today. Now out there in a fourth position. And this is the king of the baggers.
Ben Bostrom pulled off.
And they're dropping like flies now. It's tough. The the battle of attrition.
Tough break. We do have a couple in the pits, but plenty of, and Logan Lockey on the Arlen Ness Road Glide has cracked the top 10 as he moved the 50X machine up into the number 9 spot. The Barnett Street Glide of Josh Chisholm, number 48. Chance Darling and his whole family got to be going crazy right now as he's up to 8th. Tony Soma on the Speed Merchant 150 Harley Davidson Road Glide in the number 7 spot. Eric Stahl, folks, he's on the mullet, they call it, from Alloy Art, number 99 in 6th. Corey West in 5th. Travis Wyman on a turbocharged Trask Road Glide in 4th. Frankie Garcia on the Roland Sands Indian in 3rd. Hayden Gillum, Vance and Hines. Here comes the foot drag. Roger Lee. We are about to witness history as the first checkered flag ever in Moto America history goes to the Indian of Tyler O'Hara, 2nd place. Vance and Hines, Harley Davidson, Hayden Gillum. Here comes that Roland Sands Indian Challenger down the front straight. Frankie Garcia's got to be awful excited. Raj, especially after that get-off.
Yeah, I mean, just to be able to come out and ride today. Heck, we didn't know if he was going to get up yesterday. Just laid there for a while. But that adrenaline, you know how it is. Once you get out there, you forget about those injuries.
These guys right now are probably having one of the
No
most...
wheelie time?
Oh, no.
I said you drag the bags on the back. Yeah, right.
Here's that 86, the turbo out there. Again, another piece of history that's being made here. Travis Wyman.
You can see it there on the side, the piping and stuff for Travis. Good job by him finishing in 4th ahead of Corey West.
And I can't tell you enough. I mean, Lance Bryson from Moto America and I sat down with these guys, and we've talked about this. Lance, thanks so much for that dedicated Moto America effort. Without him, I don't know if we could have got this thing out here. He was a legend through this whole thing. The emails back and forth.
Lance probably needs to get his bagger out here and do it next time, right?
He'd be fantastic. And a wave to the... Well, when I say a wave to the crowd, the campers that have made it over the fence.
When will we see these guys again?
Hey, we got to talk with Wayne and the boys, but there was definitely some discussions. I know that Drag Specialties reached out, and there's already been some talks that it's going to get together soon. There's talk of a 3-race opportunity next year. I don't know if I'm going to call it a series as they're working out the details.
Yeah.
But let's go. Checkered flags coming. First place, Tyler O'Hara, Challenger Indian SNS. Hayden Gillum, Vance and Hines Street Glide 2nd. Frankie Garcia on the Roland Sands Indian Challenger 3rd. Travis Wyman on a turbocharged Trask Road Glide 4th. Corey West on the Sly Glide. Alex Fox. The number 9 so famous from Stan Fox's father, one of the great midget and IndyCar drivers, has to be extremely emotional right now. Oh, man. Fred Fox and Paula sitting back on the couch watching the number 9. They got to be pumped. Finishing in the top 5. Eric Stahl on the mullet in 6th. Stahl and Soma were some of the first guys to ever come out here on Dynas back in the day. I think the street bike crowd wanted to beat them up, and here they are now on television. The Valentino Rossi kisses to the crowd.
Yeah, he did the Usain Bolt as he was coming by and doing the bow and arrow.
8th place on that Barnett Street Glide. They've had this bike a while. They dug it out of mothballs, souped it up, and Chance Darling and his crew have to be over the moon from Barnett. Logan Lackey on the Arlen Ness bike, a super late entry. They had about a week, comes across the line in 9th. Ben Bostrom, DNF in the number 10 spot. Woolaway on the Saddleman bike at DNF in 11th. Josh Herron and Michael Barnes. What a great lineup of riders in one event. Gentlemen, how about that? We made some history here today.
Pretty solid. And again, thanks to Drag Specialties, the king of the baggers. I believe they have a crown for the king. And Hayden Gillum gave it a heck of a fight. I guess he'd be the prince right now. Garcia in 3rd. But There's one guy in the paddock that lives on a bagger. His day job is a policeman in North Carolina. Mike Coppolis is probably checking that out. I said, man, we need to get you out there next year. You can't come in here as a spectator for the race itself. These are campers, friends, and fans that just happen to be camping here at Laguna Seca.